What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Balance Tune, and today we've got Barricade Lucifer, the final release. Stay tuned. Alright, now that we're all stickered up, let's go over to parts and see what we think. So, right off the bat, we have the illegal disc. This is a great reprint. And the 10 armor. I mean, 10 armor's been done so much. We know it's a decent armor, so I mean, they're pretty good choices. Though I do wish they would have given us a 5 armor. Next, we'll look at the Lucifer chip. It definitely has good teeth, and then it's got the 3 BU locks on each side, so it's probably pretty good for burst resistance when using a DB disc, one of the Dynamite Battle burst discs, or whatever they're exactly called. The BU lock system, that's what it is, the Burst Ultimate lock system. So this will probably work well with those. It's probably got decent stamina like Hyperion. Next, we have Barricade. Honestly, this is probably going to be pretty garbage for any of the meta. The only thing I can see this being relatively good against is like a making an actual defense blade for against left spin attackers. I think it's going to be pretty bad against right spin. I'll test it out, but that's the only thing I think that's going to be good for. I don't think that's going to be good for stamina. I don't think it's going to be good for attack or anything like that. I think it's just going to be like a defense layer if possible. So you'll really probably only end up using this in deck format or pick 3 choose 1, where you can just, like, if you anticipate that your opponent is going to go to or start off with the guilty combo, you can just slap this in there and you'll be able to defend really well and be good to go. And then next, of course, we have Bearing Mobius. So this was the thing that I was curious about with it, was if they were going to give it the same tip as Bearing Drift, which they have. So it's definitely going to have, you can definitely launch this harder than regular Mobius, and it's going to stay in the center. It's going to do what it's going to do. It's going to be very, it's going to be a very stamina-based driver. It's not defensive, it's stamina. Now, it's definitely one of the tallest drivers in the game that has the potential to be a good driver. So with that being said, with the lean that this definitely has, like if you're looking at that, if you're looking at how much that will lean, I don't think this is going to be great in opposite spin. But definitely I think it has the highest potential in same spin. It'll be really good as a same spin driver, which is a little unfortunate. Like, so it might just be like the same spin counter to Bearing Drift, but in all reality, I find that High Extend Plus is just as good. Like, at this current point in time, this is basically like a high bearing. So we'll see. We'll definitely test it out. We'll see how it turns out. And yeah. Alright, and we're back with Barricade Lucifer. So let's talk about our final thoughts. The core here, it's actually really solid. I think it's a really solid core. Probably one of the better stamina cores in the game. It's got good enough teeth for attack too, so this core is just all around going to be pretty good. It's definitely worth having. 10 is 10, and illegal, I still think this is the best disc in the game, so it's probably worth getting one for that. Alright, let's talk about the sad panda of Barricade. Yeah, unfortunately, this is complete garbage. It has one purpose, and that one purpose is to fend off Guilty. That's it. It can't beat Xiphoid. Xiphoid will still outspin it. I even did a side test to see how well this went against Prominence, and we all know Prominence is really bad in same spin, unless like the armor flies off, but I made sure it was locked in heavy mode so the armor didn't come off, and this was just like really bad. Prominence outspun this by you know a very lot. Like, this was out for the count in like a second, it felt like. So unfortunately, Barricade isn't really that good. You know, we've got the nice thank you from Takara Tomy, but unfortunately they put it on probably the worst DB layer out. Like, I would say Cyclone is better than this. And then let's talk about Bearing Mobius. Honestly, I'm disappointed. I thought it was going to be better than it is. I thought it was just going to basically be high bearing. But in reality, it's not that good. Opposite spin, it's really bad because it just leans over way too far and falls over at the end. But it seemed to be having the same problem even in same spin. Just when you got closer to the end, it just fell over. And that's really upsetting. It seems like the only combo that I can find that this will actually work on really well is Wind, Illegal, Bearing Drift, or Bearing Mobius, and then whatever chips and stuff you use. But Wind, Illegal, Bearing Mobius is probably the best combo for this. It's really good for same spin, and Wind just is nice and wide, and it keeps pushing the other Beyblade down when it's up high from this. But unfortunately, that leaves it with, against any other Wind Beyblade that's on like High Extend Plus or regular Bearing or Bearing Drift, they'll probably still win, unfortunately, because the wind layer is so thick that the other wind layer now can't get on top of that wind layer. It's still hitting the wind layer, so that's the unfortunate part. Yeah, honestly, personal opinion, if you need an illegal disc, this is worth getting. But if not, I mean, I probably would just skip it. I don't think this is really worth it, unless there's some sort of really niche combo out there that I haven't figured out yet, which is possible. This is the final release for Beyblade Burst, and you know, so we're gonna have a couple months between now and Generation 4, and then even then there will still be some tournaments for Burst while Gen 4 is getting its feet off the ground. So that's plenty of time for bladers to go around and try new combinations with parts that you never would have thought of before. So there might be like very specific niche combos that work out really well. Like, they're not going to be, you know, meta where you use them for like a 3-on-3 deck, because there'll be combos you'll use in like WBO deck or Pick 3 Choose 1, where you're trying to specifically counter another type of bay. That's more or less what you'll be looking to do with these parts, I think. Anyway, like the video, leave any comments and your thoughts on what you think about Dynamite Battle and Burst Ultimate. And you know what, just any comments about Burst at all. Let me know what you think, how you enjoyed the series, and if you hope Gen 4 is any better. Alright, see ya.